What's up, y'all? What's up? What's up? What is up, you guys? Happy June 1st. I know that I have already gone live this morning and already said happy first of a new month. First of the months are always so very exciting to me. I think every single month on the first is almost like a restart. It's almost like God saying, fresh new beginning in that month. And so today has been a very interesting day. Also, if you guys have not checked out the first broadcast this morning entitled Don't Be Distracted, please go ahead and check that one out whenever you feel led to do so. Our declaration on this afternoon, because this afternoon where most of you guys are, I believe most of my Haps family and Periscope family, you guys are on the East Coast, so you guys are of course an hour ahead. Right now it is 11:49 here. What's up, Sabrina? And so our declaration is going to be, get it together. Again, our declaration is going to be, get it together. Get it together. Get it together. Have you guys ever had a moment where you just feel like you're, you know that you're waiting on God, but you feel like you don't know what to do while you wait? Anybody ever had one of those moments where you just feel like, Lord, even though I'm waiting, doubt begins to set in and you just kind of just feel like, not only do I not know what to do, but your mind almost begins to prepare itself. Hey, Visha, your mind almost begins to prepare itself, prepare yourself to fail. Anybody ever been there? Your mind automatically just shifts to a place where you just what am I going to do? It ain't even freaking out. It's like you're prepared to be defeated. You're prepared for the circumstance, the situation to literally overtake you. This was me earlier today. I'm gonna just be real. This was me earlier today. I checked my status of my rental assistance and it had not yet been updated. And so I ended up calling them this morning, got in contact with someone, and pretty much they're what did the lady tell me? Pretty much, well, because you moved, your process is a little bit longer or something like that, or I guess a little bit more tedious. Whatever the case may be. But when I told her, pretty much I need this, I have nothing, I need it to be done, today. She pretty much in a nutshell said, I'm going to send it up to my supervisor and we're going to see what we can do. And so even after having that conversation, my mind was just in a state of being where I'm preparing for failure, unconsciously preparing for failure. And I don't think that many people understand what that mindset does to a person. It makes you feel depressed. It makes you feel down and out. It makes you feel like God ain't faithful. It literally makes you feel like you're literally about to have the rug slip from under your feet. You can know that God is faithful. You can know that he's going to come through. You can know all of these different things, but there are some moments literally where, when that mindset, when your mind shifts to that place, you're not thinking about none of that. You can know all of it, but your feelings begin to override your faith. And I think we all have been there where our feelings begin to override our faith. And so here I am today, just, earlier today, I was just moping around. Listen, just literally moping around. I had to put in a request for the apartment because I'm like, Lord, it's a leak somewhere in here. Because I've been having to clean up pools of water in my hallway. And so I put in that request. That made me feel even more like down and out. People were calling me. My sister's like, hey, and I knew it was God. She was, like, hey, I want to bring you some t-shirt business. Maybe you can do shirts for her and my mom's church. And it was just a lot of different things happening. And I just found myself getting to a place where I wanted to be secluded, where I wanted to I was in that mindset where it's like, I don't know what to do. And so I was in that mindset up until maybe about like an hour ago, just moping around, just moping, feeling overwhelmed, feeling sad, feeling all of that at one time. It is not a fun feeling. And so I found myself taking my dogs out, and then I knew that I had to take my trash to the dumpster. And so I'm taking my trash to the dumpster, and sure enough, and checking the mail because I'm waiting on like a little gift card from like my internet service provider, and it still has not come. So needless to say, I pull up at the mailbox, which is right by the dumpster, and I see like the maintenance man, the same maintenance guy that changed those blinds, and he was really supposed to charge me for that, but he didn't charge me. And so I'm thinking it's just going to be smooth sailing. I'm already in like a mindset, and he begins to say, so I went to the store up the street and they got some wine on sale. He named it. I'm like, what is that? He like, it's some wine. I said, oh, for me? He like, no, for me. And he said, you know what? I'm going to come take them blinds back. And we just erupted in laughter. It was him and another guy. And I had asked him his name. I'm like, at this point, my mindset is not I promise y'all I'm going somewhere. It's not in a dark place. And so he told me the other guy's name. I'm like, now you just said that was his name. So what's your name? And it was just a big debacle where everybody's just laughing and talking. And so on my drive back home, because I drove there because it's too hot to walk all the way to the front of the complex for just to take my trash out. I'm just being honest and being realistic. And on my drive back home, I heard the Lord say, get it together. And then he followed it up by saying, what does faith look like? I know how you feel. I know what it looks like. I know it's the first of the month. I know you've got this bill due. I know you don't have anywhere else to go, but what does faith look like? And I believe that some of y'all have been in your headspace just like me a little bit, feeling down and out, feeling all of those different emotions. And honestly, you don't have to feel all those emotions all throughout the day. But for many people, it's like it comes and goes in waves. Give me a 1 if you understand what I'm saying. You could be having a good moment where you're excited, you feeling good, you in faith, and then boom, something will trigger. Hey, Mrs. Edna, something will literally like trigger like a moment where you just feel you feel that wave of emotions coming in, and you'll struggle for a little bit. If you don't catch yourself, you will struggle for a little bit. And so the Lord said, he said, get it together. What does faith look like? And then he drew my mind back to the maintenance guy. And it was like, as I was driving, this is where God began to talk to me. As I was driving, something just said out of my mouth, I'm not going to get kicked out of this apartment. I don't know what it was about the maintenance guy interacting with me, but it just felt like you're here to stay. You're not going anywhere. And so as I'm driving home, the Lord says, get it together. What does faith look like? I know how you feel. I know what it looks like. I know what it seems like. I hear what they're saying. But what does faith look like? And in that moment, I immediately knew that God was telling me, go home and clean your house. Now, granted, it stays for the most part pretty clean. There were just little things that I knew I needed to do. Wiping things down, wiping countertops, right? Unloading my dishwasher, putting the dishes up. There were just little things I had to do. And when I got done, the Lord said, you see what a little bit of faith can do? He literally told me, he asked me, do you see what a little bit of faith can do? I'm not asking you for a big, bold, excited type of faith. But what I am asking you is that in moments where you're waiting and you got a right now need, what I am asking for a little is for you to exercise a little bit of faith. Just a little bit. It's amazing what little things can do to encourage us. I pray that I'm making sense. To hold on and trust God. And it's also when God was talking to me about it and I knew that he wanted me to go live about it, my mindset was God, I don't want to keep giving this same message. You ever had a moment where you God, I don't want to keep doing a certain thing. My mindset was, I don't want to keep giving this same message because this message comes periodically. But the Lord told me, he said, there are people that need that word. They need that reminder that even while they're waiting, even though the circumstance doesn't look good, I pray that I'm making sense. Even though it don't look like it's going to work in their favor, even though they got a right now need and it seems like it's being delayed, there are people out there that need this reminder that while you're waiting, you find the little bit of things to do to feed your faith. Because remember, and even now God is speaking to me about, remember, either you feed your faith and starve your fear, or you feed your fear and you starve your faith. And the Lord, even now he's beginning to deal with me about how the connection between our emotions and fear. Our emotions, a lot of times, especially when we're feeling like we're depressed, especially when we're feeling down and out, especially when we're feeling overwhelmed, our emotions feed our fear. I'm going to say it again. Our emotions feed our faith. Our fear. He says, I need to say that again. In moments where we're going through it, where it's hard to wait, where our mind is roaming a million miles an hour, moments where we have unconsciously began to prepare ourselves to be defeated concerning something that we are going through. In those moments, while we don't feel close to God, why it feels like we can't hear God, while we're not thinking about what the Bible says, when we're not thinking about what God has spoken over a situation, in those moments, it is because our emotions at the time, those negative, weighty emotions, are fueling our fear. And the more we fuel that fear, the less faith we feel, and the less faith we're able to show God. Because remember, if you're feeding your fear, if your fear is all the way up here, your faith is at the floor. Your faith is at the floor. So of course your mindset is not going to be, what can I do to hold on? Because a lot of times it seems so much easier to give in to those negative emotions, to give in to those defeatful thoughts. Give me a one if you understand. It's a lot easier. I don't care what nobody say. When you're going through a situation where you need God to make a right now move, when you're going through something, I pray that I'm making sense. Where it just seems like the wait is going on forever and forever and forever. When you feel like God ain't hearing you, it feels a lot easier to give in to feeling defeated. It feels a lot easier to give in to depression, a lot easier to give in to anxiety. And that only exacerbates the fear that we feel. It only heightens the fear that we feel. So my question to you, God's question to you, what are you feeding? What are you feeding? And by that question, I mean, have you been moving in a way that is stirring up your faith and setting you up to prepare to win? Or have you been moving and thinking in a way that says, I'm going to miss out. The rug is going to be pulled from under my feet. I'm not going to get what I need. Because there is a difference. What have you been allowing your emotions to affect? Your faith or your fear? Because it really sets the tone on how we're able to wait. And I'm going to just be real. By the time I got done clean, I wiped down everything, cleaned windows. I did everything that I needed to do. God straight up told me, now do you see what just a little bit of faith can do? Some of y'all have been sitting up in the house, down and out, depressed, not doing anything. I'm going to say it again. Some of y'all, because you feel like you've been waiting for so long, or you feel like, God, I'm not able to get to the point, to the place that I know you've told me I can get to. Some of y'all have been so defeated, so down and out, where you isolate yourself. You will sit in that dark room. You will sit in that house all day, and you will do absolutely nothing. And a lot of times by doing absolutely nothing, Gills, we're trying to find things to run away from the process of having to wait on God. I'm going to say that again. A lot of times, what it looks like in moments where we feeling defeated and we're isolating ourselves, moments like that, you may be scrolling social media all day. You be doing everything else but things that can feed your faith and get you to a point where you believe on God, believe that God is going to do it for you. I pray that I'm making sense. What does faith look like for you? Faith looked like for me saying, okay, God, I'm about to wipe down my counters. I'm about to, clean my home. I'm about to finish organizing. I'm about to wipe down everything that I need to wipe down, clean these windows. I still have 2 more windows to clean, right? But at the end of the day, it's on us. It's on us to make the decision to say, I'm choosing faith. Despite of how I feel, I'm choosing to do something that will encourage me. Like in my wilderness, God says I need to share this. Like it felt like such a dry season. Like it really was like a dry time in my life. Even though like God was providing, it wasn't on the level where it is now. There were so many moments where I felt defeated, where I felt beyond stuck. There were so many days that went by where I just sat around trying to escape. And this is why I hated nighttime. And I hated the weekends, because I felt like those were the times where I couldn't distract myself from the fact that I was in a season that God needed me to be in, that I was in a season where my only way out was if God chose to open the door. And so I low-key hated nights and weekends, because all the thoughts that I had been suppressing during the day, they began to roll in like a flood. And it affected my level of sleep. On top of being tormented by the enemy, it affected so very much. And one of the things that I was believing God for was a place of my own. And so even though that season was dry, even though sometimes gas was really hard to come by, I felt like for 3.5 years, I was running on fumes, where it was literally my life looked like a quarter of a tank. Your tank is on E. Maybe y'all ain't never been there. I'm riding on E. Sometimes if I'm lucky, I may get half a tank. On the faith tour, God always gave me what I needed to get to where I was going. But when I was at my mom's house, it was slim pickings. And so for me, faith in that season, what I would do, even though I didn't have the finances to get an apartment, to move in, I didn't have the faith back then. I'm just going to be flat out honest. I ain't had a faith. I thought I had the faith, but I really did not have the faith to where God could have opened up that door for me. But on days where, I would just feel overly overwhelmed, what I would do was I would go to stores and I would window shop. I'm going to see if I can find a picture. I would go to stores. And I'm about to show y'all proof. 2016, y'all, I would go to stores and I would window shop. What do I mean by window shop? I would literally take pictures. There's Sweetie. Back in 2016, my God. I would take pictures, right? This is on March 5th. Y'all can see it's a little... These were lanterns that I was looking at. Outside lanterns. I was dreaming again. This was Kohl's. I know exactly where this was. Y'all see this picture? This was March 5th, 2016. Let me keep going, though. Hold on. Let me keep going so I can just really hone in on the fact of really where I was. Hold up. It's another one. Yep. That would be what I would do. I would take pictures of comforters. I would take so many pictures. I kid y'all not. I kid y'all not. I kid y'all not. I can't find any more right now. I don't know how to work this iPhone. Hold on one second. Here's another one. Office desk chair. Office desk chair. I eventually got one in 2000, a year later. But this is what I was doing. I would go and I would dream. I would do those things because I knew that God, right now, it don't look like it. Right now, it don't look like I'm going to get it. And if I'm going to be able to hold on to this promise, I need to do something that's going to encourage me. That one day my life is going to, I pray that I'm making it, that one day my life is going to shift. Here's another thing. This was in Office Depot. 2016, hard drives. I now have one. I pray that I'm making sense. I pray that I am making sense. But that's what I would do. That is literally what I would do. That's it. Nothing else. Nothing more. I didn't do it every single time. Sometimes it would be as simple as me just going and sitting at the coffee shop, getting $1 coffee. Sometimes it was literally just that simple. Here's another one. I needed a laptop. This was May. I kid y'all not. May 2016. This is what I was doing. Is this helping anybody? There are some of y'all that are believing God for living arrangements. I'm going to say it again. There are some of y'all that are believing God for living arrangements. What have you done to feed your faith? What have you done to feed your faith? What have you done? Some of y'all are believing for jobs. Maybe if you say, Apostle, I'm believing God for a job. Maybe feeding your faith looks like, looking on job websites daily. Sometimes that gets overwhelming. I've been there. Maybe it looks like, okay, when I get my new job, this is going to be the type of wardrobe that I have. There are so many different ways to feed your faith. So many different ways to feed your faith. So today, that has been what I've been doing. I've been doing little things to literally feed my faith. And honestly, it wasn't even something that I had prepared. It was literally something that I allowed the Holy Spirit to lead. I allowed the Holy Spirit to lead. Yep. And so, that's it, y'all. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. So whatever you do, get out the house today. Do something to encourage you to continue believing God. Do something to encourage you to keep pushing. Because at the end of the day, that is literally all that you can do. And so that's it. To those of you guys that feel led to sow, you can sow. You can sow via PayPal, via the CashApp. The seed title is Fuel Your Faith. That is the seed title. The seed number is 7. That is what I hear. The seed number is 7. Can somebody type that in? The seed title, for those of you guys that are sowing, the seed title is Fuel Your Faith. Here's something else from 2016. Bedspreads. I couldn't afford a bedspread at the time. I was using the same old one. These are just little things that I would do to encourage me. And it's funny because my current bedspread. It's not the same bedspread, but it is the same color. And so that's it, y'all. That's it. That is it. And so to those of you guys that are sewing, the links are there. Seed number 7, whether you're sewing $1.07, whether you're sewing $7, whether you say, Apostle, I'm sewing 77, you let God lead you. There's at least one person that needs to sow 77. I don't know who you are, but God does. And so, oh, Capone. And so that is it. If you need prayer for anything, have a testimony, all the links, all the emails are in every single description of every single video. I love y'all though. I am rooting for you guys. And so until next time, y'all. Peace.